Okay, boys. Okay, boys, that's what we got. Y'all see what we got? Y'all see what we doing? Y'all see how let me just sip of this real quick. All right, y'all see what we doing? Hey, yo, listen. It's your boy PK with the Windy City Breeze. We just had the first football game, preseason game, whatever. Preseason game in the bag. It's preseason, I know, but it's been a long time since we had football, baby. It's been a long time. So I'm happy to say football is officially back in the city of Chicago. Check that out. Clap it up, clap it up. Listen, Kobe White style. Anyway, what do we see? What do we get? Ultimately, we got to see this upgraded roster do some things. And again, it is preseason, but it gives you a lot to be hopeful for, right? We go over some quick stats real quick. One thing you have to know is Justin Fields was 3 for 3, 129 yards, 2 tuds after that. Easy money. Easy money. Now, is this a precursor or is this foreshadowing what's going to come? Hopefully so. But it does go to show you that if you put talent around your QB, good things can happen. Let's talk about it. Listen, obviously, Himothy 1 and Himothy 2 got together on one of the first drives to return. I have to say this. Take a step back. The Tennessee Titans actually played decent. I ain't going to lie to you. Right? They opened the game up, scored the first drive. I liked it. I mean, I like what they're doing over there, especially trying to figure out whether they're going to go Will Levis. They doing the right thing over there. I like what they have. So they open up, score. Cool. No problem. What do? We return that thing back. We get that thing, not the kickoff return. We return the jab, by the way. We hit the exchange, and we have Himothy 1, Justin Fields, hit Himothy 2. The pass was a little janky. But that man goes and takes that thing, 60-something yards? Tud. Easy money. Easy money. We couldn't see that last season. We didn't see that last season at all. Realistically, whether you want to say it was a skilled personnel, you want to see it was a blocking, whatever, the blocking was there and we had the personnel. Easy money, right? But that's not all that happened. Easily, we do it again. Other side, hit Khalil Herbert with it. My man goes 56 yards. Boom. Easy money. 14 quick ones. This goes to show you that we've put the right pieces in place. Now, we didn't get to see the long ball like we wanted to and things of that nature, but with everything working with the screen pass and stuff like that, we got a chance to see that, hey, we got action here. We got action here. And, of course, this being preseason, you weren't going to see a ton. Now, I do expect us to see more as we go on. I do expect us to see more of that playbook and things of that nature. But, again, it's preseason. There's no sense of getting anybody hurt on your starting line, especially at those skill positions. It makes no sense. So if you were one of those people that walked into this game like, yo, I want to see Justin throw for 300 yards, it wasn't going to happen. I mean, it was never going to happen. So do what you will with that, right? But I do want to sit there and give a shout out to a couple other players who actually got a chance to get on the field. I thought PJ looked pretty decent. Now, he didn't get many yards. But what I liked about him is ultimately his poise. Now, I may have confused him with Peterman. But ultimately, the other individuals on our squad didn't fare badly. We still were able to go ahead and put points on the board. And I did like how some of them looked in the pocket. Now, I will admit, once we get past, and Pat has said this on I think even on the Bears podcast, he even said it on the Breeze. Once we get past our starters, right? You know, if anything happens to our starters, the talent differential does drop off significantly. And I do feel like you saw a little bit of that. The difference between obviously where Justin Fields is and ultimately where, his potential versus the other QBs, I think it's a stark contrast. I mean, there's nobody on this particular roster I think is competing to take his spot at all. Like that's not even a question. Whereas there are other teams that, they may have people on their bench that could be competing or even better than their starting QB. Chicago, we ain't got that problem. That's a good and a bad thing in my opinion. Because if anything were to happen to Justin, just based off of how he played last season, how many runs he took and stuff like that, one bad hit or something like that, a couple games out, that could really obviously mess with our season. I looked at that, I was like, hey, again, I know it's preseason, one game, things of that nature, but, I mean, for some of these players, I mean, they're fighting for their lives at this point, so they have to bring it. It's just a situation they're in. But outside of that, loved it. I wanted to see Roshan do more. Now, he did get on the offensive end, by the way, sticking with the offense. He was able to get 12 carries, 44 yards. And you got to give credit where credit is due. The Titans defense is not, I mean, they may not be the best defense in the league, but they have a really good defense. And you kind of saw that. They kind of shut down that run a little bit. Now, why they ain't do that on them screen passes, but they shut down that run for pretty well. I mean, even Khalil Herbert had four carries for 15 yards. You know, that's an average about 3 or 4 yards a carry, things of that nature. They locked that run down, and I got to give them credit. I can't take that away from them. But outside of that, we were able to show up and show out, and that's a good thing, man. That's a good thing right there. Now let's get to the defense. One, the pressure was on. I like to see it, but now we didn't see Unique. And listen, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the man. I just found out yesterday that the way we've been pronouncing this man's name all these years is not the way he pronounces his name. And now looking at it, I can't understand it. So you know who I'm talking about. Obviously, he didn't play. All right. So Ngakwe, is that Unique? Jesus. Follow me here. But the pressure was on. We did get to see, Zach get a couple tackles in there. Really big ones. Noah Sewell had some good tackles, especially around the red zone for the Titans. He had a nice move that I thought was really good. I was really looking at that because again, he's not on the depth chart. He's second on the depth chart at his position. So I was always really curious as to how he looks on the field. He looked pretty good to me. 3 tackles, 1 assist, I believe, for Noah Sewell. Everybody was getting active. Stevenson was out there playing. Man has 7 tackles, and actually, and this is the first time I actually watched the game, trying to definitely understand who and what was doing what, who was doing what and why. First time in a while I actually looked at it because again, you all know, I've been basketball till I die, but this is the first time with real intent that I'm going to break down and understand every position of where they need to be, and I like what I saw from Stevens. I can't sit there and say that. Now, Zach Pickens, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I hope he isn't the one that had a slight injury. I don't believe he did. Someone was dealing with some uncomfortability, and I think it could have been Pickens. I have to go back on that one. That's on me, y'all. That's on me. But at the end of the day, we saw our defense, and especially toward the end of this game where there was individuals who were going for, again, fighting for their lives. Titans sitting there within scoring distance, trying to make a push to win this particular preseason game. Again, it's a 6-point game. Tud and a field goal actually makes this a dub for them. And they had 2 opportunities to get it done, and our defense stood tall and made it tough for them to get it done. And that's what you want to see. So one of the questions that we always had coming into this is, okay, we retooled our offense. We got Justin some people to throw to. We got people who can run. We got people who can pretty much help us take the pressure off Justin. All of that is there. The line looks somewhat decent. That last play, after the line just disappeared. I don't know what happened with that one, but okay, he was only out there for 3 snaps. So I mean, we'll talk about that another day. But we have people who can help Justin carry that load as far as offense. But we always wondered what this retool defense, what that looks like. Now, we knew we were going to be better, but we need to know how good. And even in the preseason game, we got to see how we looked in close game moments, and it looked good. We looked good. I actually had a slight fear. I was like, okay, Will Levis might actually dot this one up. I think, he's had that little. He's had those moments in college before where he showed up in some big moments. Obviously, this is just why he thought he was going first round. So much for that, right? But we stood tall. We actually forced some INTs out there. I mean, he put up some duds. He floated that last one. I don't know what the heck he was thinking. But it's the pressure that we were able to create that allowed him to be uncomfortable. And that's what we didn't see a lot of last season. We didn't get to the quarterback enough and things of that nature. We off top, we're getting to the quarterback. We're putting some pressure on them. We're making them make decisions. We're forcing them out of comfortable spots. Again, no one's going. I don't believe anyone it's going 1,010%, right? But it goes to show you what we've been working on, what we've been building, and it looked pretty good. This is a general overview because, again, some of these people are not going to be on our roster. We know that, and a lot of the people we want to see who are going to be on the other side of this ball, most of these possessions, they didn't play every snap, and that's okay, right? But overall, this is what we saw, and I feel good about this. Now, what does this? Let's get some lowlights because I got to give a low light. I don't know what this player's problem is. I don't know what this guy's problem is. Listen, he looked good taking a few snaps, though. Hold on. He looked good taking a few reps. Hold on. Let's see how many receptions he got. I just want to be clear on this one before I kill him. Because I don't get it. I don't get it. Velus Jones, 1 reception for 6 yards. Okay, never mind. He didn't look all that great. But you know what he got with that 1 reception and that 6 yards? Another muff punt. Velus, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I want you to be good. I want you to be on this roster. But you got to give me a reason to root for you, baby. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what the timing is. But I looked at that punt. I saw how you was letting it come. And I was like, he going to muff it. Like, he ain't going to recover this joint. And sure enough, what you do? Come on, baby. Like, what? Work with me. Work with me. Pat's been praising this man all training camp. Said he had a great camp, this, that, and the other. I'm like, okay, cool. He turned it around. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Even Pat was like, hey, listen, I want to make sure that the clip that says cut him is something that they look back and like, look at these idiots, right? And I was like, hey, listen, he's playing like trash. You cut him because he's playing like trash. But if he don't play like trash, he's showing up, he's showing out. Give that man his money. Give that man a position. Let him rock out. You got one job at this point. Catch the ball. It did. Baby, what's happening? We gonna put stickum on them gloves. That's what we gonna do. Because for some odd reason, you and catching this thing while sitting there trying to field everything else don't really work. Maybe that's just not where you need to be. Clearly, that's not where you need to be. Now, fortunately enough, the second quarter of this game was such a turnover fest that we quickly forgot that Velus Jones had one. However, he did have one. In step with all the other turnovers he had last season, or the missed opportunities he had last season, and just dumb decisions that were made. But yeah, he had one. And that's not what you want to see for play. That's a low light. Again, I don't even know I have never seen so many turnovers in a quarter in my life. Now, I'm pretty sure that's not if it is an NFL record, Jesus. I don't think it is, though. But I've never seen, that was the longest second quarter I've ever watched in a preseason game. Normally, these preseason games, they be just moving, right? This thing went for quite some time. In fact, when I told my wife, hey, listen, this quarter is going 15 minutes. It's going to go about 22. Just add a couple. That's how it's going to go. I think it was like 30 minutes later. We were still in the second quarter. I was like, yo, that's a long game. It was just people just making mistakes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I was like, well, that's preseason for you. But it's who made the mistake. It should not have been Velus Jones. But yet again, my man has a turnover there. And so this is all I want to say in regards to that. Get it together. Get it together. Because ain't no way, my boy. Ain't no way that the moniker on you is the dumb, boneheaded mistakes you make on returning and the muff punts and all that stuff. And the very first opportunity you get to show the world, hey, I'm not that guy again, you do the exact same thing. I'm pausing intentionally. It's dramatic effect. Moving on. At this point, football is back. We have another game next week, next Saturday. Happy to see that the Bears. I'm gonna make sure I got this schedule right real quick. Make sure I got the schedule right. Because the Bears are gonna be moving on down. We're gonna be going to the Colts. Which again, we'll love to see how they look. We'll love to see, Justin Fields, Anthony Richardson, that little duo for a little bit this season, right? A little bit this preseason. See what that first quarter looks like. I'm not expecting our stars to be playing a full game, as you shouldn't in any preseason. But I do expect them to have more than three 3 reps or a couple of snaps. I do expect him to at least play a full quarter. If that changes, obviously you'll hear from me, you'll hear from Pat. But all in all, good dub, good win, good showing for the boys, good showing from Himothy 1, Himothy 2. We had nice showing from the defense. We have a lot of promise there, and guess what? It is showing us not to be the scrubs that we thought we were, or the scrubs that we were last season, and I like it. Still having some iffy things about that line. We'll get to that. Hopefully that's something that clears up and shores up moving forward. But everything else that we were deficient about, I feel a lot better about. But I want to hear your thoughts, man. How did you feel about the game? How did you feel about Justin Fields and that little drive? DJ Moore, obviously. I mean, that's what we get. We brought him in. He showed up first game. You see Velus Jones, first game. He showed up. He does what he does, right? How you feel about Velus Jones? Give me all of that. Whether it's love, whether it's hate, put it in the comments. I'll be in there with you. Till next week, boys. Well, you're going to see us throughout the week. But until next week, when we got real football, I do believe that we're going to be live calling that one. This one, we had a little scheduling conflict, but we will be live calling the next one. But until then, y'all be safe. Until next time.